Hey guys, welcome to another video. In this video, we'll be solving another program, menu-based program. So let's start. So import java.util.scanner. So this is the first line we can see that we are importing packages and sub-package. So the main package is Java and the sub-package is util and scanner. So scanner is the sub-package of util, util is the sub-package of Java. So Java is the main package and scanner class is used for the user so that the user can input uh, in the terminal window and the program can take in the entered values and it can make a output out of it as mentioned in the program in the next few lines. So class bookfare. So this is the initialization of a class that is bookfare, and then you have a bracket that signifies that a new block of code has to be written, and then we have string bname. So this is lines 3 and 4 basically variable initializations of data type string and double. So bname is a string data type variable and double is a double data type price. And then we have bookfare method. One more note to the viewer that you cannot add another method inside a method. So see, for example, if you have bookfare over here, then I cannot write another method inside this. So see, for example, display and round brackets. So I cannot initialize another method inside a method, or the program, the compilation code or the compilation process will throw an error. Now this is bookfare and this is a constructor. So if you have a method that uses the class name, if you have a method that uses the class name as a method, then that is known as a constructor. Now you have bname, which is equal to Parzival Falco. Now another note, bname is string, so therefore string has to be stored inside double asterisk. So say for example, if I have a string say str, so str is a variable of data type string is equal to, and you have to store the value inside double asterisk. So it would be apple. So this will be a string data type initialization. This is the initialization process, and you are assigning a value apple to it. So this is what's happening over here. And then you have price, which is equal to 500. Now there's a fault in this. It should basically be 500.0 because it's a double data type variable. So it has to have a decimal value in the stored value. Now we have void input. And as you may have seen over here, void input is not initialized inside this method. This is initialized separately. Now we have scanner, scan is equal to new scanner, and system.in is entered only when you have to instruct the program that the user has to enter an input. So it is basically associated with the keyboard. Whatever is written on the keyboard is entered on the terminal window itself. So if I write E in the terminal window itself, then the program will use that value and make an output of itself as specified by the program. And this is a variable that is assigned a reference address of this whole snippet of code. And new basically assigns a separate object address, and that address is stored inside the variable scan. System.out.println. So this line is basically used because if you want to print an output in the terminal window, you will use system.out.println, enter your name. Whatever is written inside the double asterisk is immediately printed on the terminal window itself. So if you write enter your name, so in the terminal window it will write enter your name. Now if you write 1 plus 1, if you want the program to solve 1 plus 1 is equal to 2, but if you write this inside double asterisk, so it will print 1 plus 1 instead of 2. Okay, now let's move on to the next line, 14th line. Now we have bname, and bname is basically a string data type, which is equal to scan the variable dot next line. Now in this case, we have scan dot next line. So scan is basically the variable that I was asking about earlier, and dot is used to access the scan variable and read the data type that is entered by the user in the terminal window. So say, for example, if the terminal window in this case is asking enter your name. So if I have the terminal window in front of me and it is asking, say, for example, enter your name, colon. So I will write, say, for example, Suresh. if I enter Suresh, so this is a string data type. And if I have to read a string data type, then I will use next line. But if I say, for example, in the next 16th line, if I have enter your price, so in the terminal window, it will be written as enter your price, colon. And then in the next line, if you write Suresh again, that will be a compilation error. Why will it be a syntax or compilation error? Because price is mentioned as a double data type over here. Suresh is a string data type. It is not a double data type. The computer can make a differentiation between a data type which is double and a data type which is string. So if you write Suresh over here, it will show a compilation error. So you have to write 123.032, and you have to make sure that the input that you are entering is also not integer like 123. You have to add a dot which signifies a decimal point and some numbers or values after it. And to read a double data type, if you want to read a double data type, if you want the program to read your output as a double data type, then you would write next double. And this dot is basically used as a communication link between the variable scan and the next double method. Now let's move on to the next snippet of code. I'll just erase whatever we've mentioned till now, and let's move on. Now we will move on to the third method. Now, what the third method is saying, it is the calculating method. So whatever calculations are mentioned, it will happen in this method, the third method, calculate. Okay. Now void basically means that this method will not return a value. Okay. Now let's move on. Now we have the if else if and else statement. So if price is smaller than equal to 1000, so say for example, if I have a terminal window, we'll look at the terminal window in a short bit. I'm just showing you a rough depiction. So if the say for example, if the program is asking me enter your price, as I mentioned earlier, colon, and if I write say for example 500. Now 500 is smaller than 1000, so this part of the program will be activated. Price is equal to price minus 0.02 into price. So this is a calculation. If the price that I've entered, say for example 500, is less than 1000, then this part of the program will be activated. And these part of the program will not be activated because 500 is not greater than 1000, and it is not even less than equal to 3000 or even greater than 3000. It is smaller than 1000, so only this part of the program will be activated. Now, instead of 500, if I had written, just one second, if instead of 500, if I had written, say, 2500, now 2500 is greater than 1000 and it is less than 3000. So in this case, this part of the program will be activated. Okay, now let's move on to the final method, second last method, which is display. Okay, now what does display say? System.out.println. Now, when we see SOP, I'll just mention this as SOP. Your name is, this is, so as I mentioned earlier, if you see any output or if you see any line inside a double asterisk in the bracket, in the argument of the SOP line, then you can be confident, you can be rest assured that this line, say for example, your name is, it will be printed on the terminal window. Now, in this case, the plus is not a mathematical function, but it is used to join the two parts of the argument. So your name is B name. Now, this is not a correct code. This is not a correct syntax. It will, the program will throw a syntax error. You have to join these two components by a plus sign. But the plus sign does not add these two. It is simply a you can say it is a concatenation. It joins these two parts together. Okay. Moving on to the 38th line, system.out.println or SOP, the price of the book after discount is price. So whatever values of B name and price are, it will be the price that was calculated earlier. So if I had entered the price in this case 500, so whatever is the sorry, one second. Okay, so whatever is the price, whatever was the price that was calculated after I had entered my input in the terminal window, that will be displayed over here. Okay, let's move on to the next snippet of code. Now we have public static void main string arguments. Now main method is used so that the program may be compiled, string arguments, and we have a class declaration bookfare OB is equal to bookfare. Now in this case, you have to write the class initialization bookfare because it is the name of the class itself. OB is equal to new bookfare, and then you have semicolon. Now, in this case, you don't have to write system.in because you are not asking the user to input a statement. Now, in the earlier statement, as I had used scanner is equal to scanner, scan is equal to new scanner, I had written system.in because I wanted the user to enter an input. But in this case, I'm not asking the user to enter an input. Okay, now we have ob.input. So dot, as I said before, it is used as a communication link between the variable ob and the methods. So once I've written this block of code, now the program will function properly and it will access each method that was displayed earlier. Now let's compile it and see what the result is. Okay, let's type. So for all those of you who are using Sublime Text, you have to use the Microsoft inbuilt software to compile the programs. But if you are using software such as BlueJ, etc., then there's already a built-in terminal window or a built-in compiler that you can use, so you don't need to use this command prompt. Okay, let's type Java C and the class name, which is bookfare.java. Let's see if there are any syntax errors. Now there are no errors, so we can type Java without the C. Earlier, Java C meant Java compiler, but we don't have to write Java C now. We can only write Java bookfare. Enter. Enter your name. So I'll write Suresh as earlier I mentioned the name. Enter price. So let's enter 3,400. Your name is Suresh. The price of the book after discount is 2,890. Now, once I had entered 3,400, so let's see which part of the program was activated. Because 3,400 is greater than 3,000, therefore this part of the program calculation was activated. So therefore, my price was 2,890. Now, if I run this again and if I enter John, and price is say 500, so the price of the book after discount is 490. So this will be the output of the program. That brings us to the end of this video. I hope you learned and enjoyed this video. This video will be uploaded on IsEqualTo Klasses Shivang, so be sure to check this video as well as other computer, history, math, geography videos out. Stay home, stay safe, take care, and I'll see you in the next video.